Hey folks, I'm Professor Darius. Thank you for watching African Elements. In this session, we explore how the FBI weaponized and used homophobia against Black radical movements. The civil rights movement of the 1960s was a pivotal moment in American history as activists fought for equal rights and an end to racial discrimination. While the movement focused on issues of race, it often overlooked and marginalized the experiences of the LGBT+ community. However, many LGBT individuals were active in the civil rights movement and fought alongside their allies for equality. Nevertheless, they faced discrimination and marginalization within the movement. Some LGBT activists were even rejected or expelled from civil rights organizations because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. That's true mainly because the civil rights movement focused heavily on gaining acceptance from mainstream America. According to a survey by the Pew Research Center in 2015, 60% of Americans said that homosexuality should be accepted by society, compared to just 11% in 1977. The FBI used this fact to undermine the movement for racial justice. The FBI tried to disrupt civil rights activities because they viewed the movement as a threat to the country's stability. Ostensibly, the FBI feared that the civil rights movement would lead to an armed revolution by African Americans, which could potentially overthrow the government. More likely, the Bureau was leery of the social upheaval that went along with the prospect of a civil rights revolution. Additionally, the FBI used accusations of homosexuality to discredit activists and divide the movement since, at the time, homosexuality was still primarily seen as taboo in the mainstream. In the civil rights movement, Bayard Rustin, an openly gay Black man and key advisor to Martin Luther King Jr., was kept out of the public eye because of his sexuality. Rustin was a key organizer of the 1963 March on Washington and is credited with helping shape many of the strategies used by civil rights activists during this time. As an organizer and advisor to Martin Luther King Jr., Rustin was crucial to the movement. However, as an openly gay man, in public, other leaders, including King, kept Rustin at arm's length due to fear of how white people would react. The FBI fully understood that publicizing the sexual orientation of gay activists could create a negative image at a time when gay people face demonization. Taking full advantage, there's significant evidence in Rustin's FBI file that the Bureau sought to use accusations of homosexuality throughout the 1960s to undermine him. The Bureau hoped to discredit Bayard Rustin as a homosexual to undermine his efforts to advance the civil rights movement. The FBI unleashed an arsenal of tactics against movements and movement leaders. At the core of this effort was COINTELPRO, or the Counterintelligence Program. COINTELPRO was a secret FBI program used to surveil, infiltrate, discredit, and disrupt domestic political organizations. It was created in 1956 and ran until 1971. The program targeted groups such as the Black Panther Party, the American Indian Movement, the Socialist Workers' Party, and other civil rights activists. The goal of COINTELPRO was to undermine these groups by any means necessary, including spreading false information about them and using tactics such as blackmail and entrapment. Some of the more heavy-handed techniques included orchestrating imprisonment through trumped-up charges and even orchestrating the assassination of movement leaders. For example, the Bureau had a heavy involvement in the assassination of Fred Hampton, a prominent Black Panther Party leader. In December 1969, the FBI Chicago office sent an informant to infiltrate the Black Panthers and report back on their activities. The informant, William O'Neill, provided information that led to a raid on Hampton's apartment by 14 police officers. During the raid, Hampton and another Black Panther Party member, Mark Clark, were shot and killed by police. The FBI also provided false information about weapons in the apartment to justify the raid. Perhaps even more nefarious than outright assassination was the FBI's propaganda and misinformation campaigns that the Bureau concocted to engineer the target group's self-destruction. Soft tactics offered more desirable alternatives for the Bureau than violent ones did. Agents could create dissension between groups or within organizations without feeling responsible for the loss of life. Furthermore, deploying homosexuality in this manner did not require the Bureau to become involved with other agencies or local police forces that might compromise the secret nature of COINTELPRO. The FBI spread misinformation through anonymous letters or leaflets accusing activists of being homosexual. They did so to cause dissension and neutralize activists without making the Bureau or its informants vulnerable to exposure. Understanding the FBI's use of propaganda techniques is crucial to understanding the nature of COINTELPRO. The Bureau took full advantage of the added constraints that LGBT activists and their allies face to advance racial and sexual orientation equality. In 1968, a Chicago coalition of students, including the Black Students for Defense and the Black Students Association, organized, seeking fundamental changes such as more Black educators and a more culturally inclusive curriculum. One of the movement leaders, Jim Harvey, helped organize a walkout on a Monday in October 1968 that saw 35,000 students empty out of Chicago schools. They did so despite increasingly harsh penalties from school administrators. Growing concern over the movement and Harvey's growing influence, the FBI Chicago field office sent anonymous letters to the press to discredit him. People close to the boycott problem feel his interest in these young kids is no accident. If the public knew who and what some of these people were, maybe it would help. I know why he likes these young Black brothers down there. We don't need sissies or freaks for leaders. Some brothers on the West Side say he's with the man, because he don't work, but he sure gets around. Maybe you can do something. Signed, a brother. The FBI tried to discredit the Black Panther Party by using sexual knowledge to discredit the organization. The Black Panther Party was the group of most significant concern to the Bureau. In addition to Fred Hampton, the Bureau took aim at other Chicago branch leaders such as Bobby Rush and Robert Brown. I know those two that run the Panthers for a long time, and those mothers been with every Black outfit going where it looked like they was something in it for them. The only Black people they care about is themselves. The Panthers need real Black men for leaders, not freaks. Former Black Panther Ashanti Alston once said that what the FBI did with COINTELPRO was take advantage of the weaknesses already present within the organization. Homophobia was a weakness within both the civil rights and Black Power movements, and the FBI exploited it. I'm Professor Darius, and if you're still here, consider joining the history makers in our Patreon community who have chosen to support this content. As always, you are greatly appreciated. If you'd like to become a history maker, you can join them for as little as $1 a month and gain early access to ad-free videos. Or you can support us for free just by dropping a like, commenting, and subscribing. Either way, thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll see you in the comments.